It's Kringle Time. Sit back and relax as we dive into a world of laughter and learning with the Kringle brothers, reminding us that we are better together.
Hello, everyone. Oh, it's only me tonight. It's Herbie. And I just wanted to say, because Michael had some other arrangements to do, today is his daughter's birthday. So, you know what? We're just going to have some fun. Now, the name of this show was What's in Santa's Bag of Tricks? And I just wanted to take this opportunity to let you, as our viewing audience, submit any questions or anything that you'd like to discuss right now. That would be fantastic. And I see everybody out there. Hello, Ken. Hello, Santa Doug. Hello, John. How are you? Oh, my goodness, here. And we have Charlie with us and Terry and Lewis. And oh, my goodness, it is so good to see each and every one of you. Now, it's good to be back because, as many of you know, last week we did take a vacation, just a small one, because Michael actually did all the Zoom practice sessions for ASL. So I just wanted to give him a break. Now, I can recall not too long ago that someone asked what was in our library. Well, to kick everything all off, and like I said, if you want to ask anything, this is a wonderful time to ask your questions. But what I was asking first was, what's inside my library? Well, the very first book is, and as you can see here, it's The Autobiography of Santa Claus by Jeff Gwynne. Now, many of you had this, and this is a great book to help you establish your Santa character. Now, we've talked many times about our backstories, and this would be a wonderful book to go ahead and touch off on that discussion. Now, there's another really good book here. Oh, where did it go? If you want to know the history of St. Nicholas and other holiday gift givers, just so you could actually improve your repertoire, there's a wonderful book by Tom German, and this is Santa Claus Worldwide. Now, this is a wonderful story about the origins of Santa, as well as other gift givers from around the world. But the Vineyard Santa writes in, with my first event ever being this Saturday for Christmas in July at our local winery, I would love to hear about your first event. Oh my goodness. My first event was actually a photo shoot for my wife. And I've told this story many times, but my wife is a professional photographer and she wanted to do Santa pictures. Well, she took a look at me one day and said, "Hey, you're kind of round. Did you ever want to think about sitting for Santa for me?" And of course, trying to be the good husband I am, I said, "Sure. How do we do it?" And of course, we went to rent a suit, and I had the infamous walrus beard. And for those that are traditional Santas, the beard, that the mustache and the beard are all connected. It covers your mouth and it kind of makes you look like a walrus, or Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. So, and I see, hello, Jenny. Well, Adam, the first book you could probably pick on either on Amazon, or you can actually locate it all. Again, it's The Autobiography of Santa Claus by Jeff Gwynne. And the second book, I believe you can also pick up on Amazon as well, and that's Santa Claus Worldwide by Tom German, J as in Joseph, Erman. And they're wonderful books, especially if you're trying to understand your character a little bit more. Now, to the Vineyard Santa, you are going to have so much fun, and just be yourself. That's one of the things I think I've learned so much about being a Christmas performer and getting the opportunity to share with each and every one of you. And the most important thing is to be truthful. Just to understand that you're there to provide memories, a guardian of lore, but you are there to make the best impression. Oh, hello, Kane. How are you? Yep, good evening to you, and checking in for a few minutes. That's wonderful. And Santa Jerry, you also made a very good point. A lot of these books you can find on Thrift Books, and that is a website that has used books in good condition that you may be able to get for a lesser price. Now, another fun book is, and many of you have actually gone through this, and that's Tim Conahan's Behind the Red Suit. Now, this is the textbook Tim Conahan uses for his school, and it's a good book. It provides a lot of good information, so you would be able to basically at least stick your toe in there And let's see what other fun books. Oh, here's another good one too. And this is called Santa Claus Makeup by Ron Woollick. There it is. That's how you do this. Now, Ron Woollick is a makeup artist, and he also produces beards, and he is out of Florida. And this is a wonderful book because he actually goes in depth about how to apply makeup, especially for designer bearded Santas. Oh, hello AJ. Hello, and again, hello Bruce Nord. How are you, my brother? Yes, it's so good to see you. And let's see. Oh, I hope everybody had a wonderful time in Branson for School of Santas. I know they do a wonderful job there. I know AJ was there as well. I think Kathy Fick was there. So, great time to all. Hello, Gary. How are you? I'm just kind of going through. Santa Chris, how are you? Oh, and of course, Jerry Allen from Northern Indiana. Boy, I'm just so excited today. Now, I mentioned this book in the past, and for any of our would-be Mrs. Clauses who might be on the call with us tonight, is a wonderful book called The Wondrous Mrs. Claus by Pamela McCall. Now, she did exhaustive research on the Mrs. Claus character, which may be able to help some of you Mrs. Clauses help develop your own or to enhance what you already have created. Another great book, also written by Pamela McCall, is 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, The Art and History of the Classic Poem. Now, I know I'm going through these relatively quickly because I didn't really want to spend too much time on all of these books, but I just wanted you to provide just a sampling of my library that I currently have here at the house. Some of the other fun books are, I'm really excited because I can't talk well. Oh, what did I do with it? No, it's not there, not there, not there, not there. Oh, here it is. Now, sometimes to help us, I don't have a copy of Santa Doug's book, but Santa Doug has a wonderful story, and I believe it's not a story. It's a nice book about the miracle on 34th Street. So, Doug, if you are with us, go ahead, or maybe Jenny can put some information into the chat so other people can get the book too. I just haven't had an opportunity to get that as of yet. Now, to go ahead and within my character development, I also look at some of the darker sides of Christmas and the Yule season itself. And another wonderful book is called The Scary Book of Christmas Lore. This is written by Tim Rayborn, and it's 50 terrifying Yuletide tales from around the world. Now remember, early within the creation of Christmas, this was also a time to tell ghost stories. In fact, one of our most beloved Christmas tales, The Christmas Carol, is actually a ghost story. So when we start looking in that frame of mind, a lot of these wonderful, terrifying little stories can enhance your character as well. Another interesting book I picked up from Al Ridenour is The Krampus and the Old Dark Christmas Roots and Rebirth of the Folklore Devil. Now, many of you may know that in recent years, Krampus has actually become a more center point within the Yule season. There are many festivals dedicated to this devilish creature as well. So it's always good just to have your pulse, the pulse of what is actually out there. Now, a few other books that I do have here, and these are, like I said, these are just a cornucopia of different items that I've read, that I've actually picked up, just for the simple fact of expanding my knowledge. And this not only applies to my Santa persona, but it also helps me in understanding and answering questions. Santa Doug just gave the URL in there. And I'm sorry, Santa Doug, that I just didn't have a copy with me, and I haven't gotten one yet. So, but I will remedy that as quickly as possible. Another book that I was actually told to maybe invest in is the Encyclopedia of Christmas. Now, this book is by Tanya Gulevich, Gulevich. Now, you can't really find this book much anywhere, but you might want to look at thriftbooks.com. It's a wonderful collection of different aspects of the Christmas season from around the world, and just little snippets of different items. For instance, as I'm going through here, they have a section about the elves. They also have a section here on the different days that follow within the Christmas season, such as St. Stephen's Day, Epiphany, New Year's Eve, and the different gift givers as well. There's also a section on midnight mass as well. So let's see what's on. Hi, Sister Claus. No, you're not late. You're never late. Sue Radloff says, I have spent a fortune in books and have only been in Mrs. Claus for 2.5 years. And I haven't read half of them, but if one of our sisters or brothers has put out a new book, I'm going to get it. Well, that's great. So that's a way to support the community as well. Bruce, yep, I heard Doug's book is amazing. And then Dave Thomas says, 2 books I have liked recently, Celebrating a Merry Catholic Christmas by Father William Saunders and The World Encyclopedia of Christmas. And that's exactly what this one is there, Dave, the Encyclopedia of Christmas. And I've also read the Celebrating a Merry Catholic Christmas by Father William Saunders. Unfortunately, I bought the digital copy of it, but it is a wonderful book that goes in depth as to how the Catholic Church played into the creation of our modern day Christmas. Another book that I was turned on to from Stephen Gillum is Being Santa Claus by a wonderful author. His name is just so cool. His name is Sal Lizard, and it's Being Santa Claus. Now, as per Steve, he says every year he goes into read this book because it energizes him and gets him really in the mood for the Christmas holiday. And a few of his stories are actually based upon stories from Sal. Unfortunately, Sal has passed away with us, but this is a wonderful, heartwarming true stories of a real bearded Santa. Oh, and let's see here. I'm getting so many wonderful comments. Now, before I go into a few other books here, does anybody have any questions or anything that they would like to discuss? I know we've had a wonderful time with Christmas in July events. In fact, I just completed one here in Michigan on the west side at a blueberry farm. And the concept was it was a mixed up holiday. So not only was Santa there, but also the Easter Bunny. Yes, Dave, Santaology by Stephen Gillum is a must. Unfortunately, there aren't many of those in print, so if you're lucky enough to come across one, I highly congratulate you. But I will send this, and it's just a plug for Steve and Deb Gillum, is if you attend their Santaology classes, especially Santaology 1 and 2, you'll pretty much have the very first Santaology book. Now, as for 3 and 4, those are currently going on right now, and this is all new things that Steve has come up with, improved upon, and have actually taken some more interest in there. So always go to Santaology or santaandthedriver.com to look up that information. Oh, the Vineyard Santa. Would love to hear your reason for how reindeer fly. Well, as I am a follower of Steve Gillum, and I also use the red fairy dust aspect, I tell the children that the reindeers fly because each time I give them a small amount of red fairy dust, and this helps them fly. But unfortunately for little Rudolph couldn't fly like his father Donner. Well, as the fairies are bringing the annual red fairy dust supply to me, they stopped and watched little Rudolph climb up to the top of the barn, step off, and fall. Try to climb up, step off, and fall. Well, they wanted to help little Rudolph. So, of course, they wanted to give him fairy dust, but they weren't sure exactly how much fairy dust to give. Well, while they were discussing this, little Rudolph caught air of them, and he crept closer and closer. And during the fairies' discussion, the red fairy dust fell to the ground. Well, Rudolph, of course, jumped at the opportunity. So he went over and he looked in the bag, and in the wonderful words of Charlie Johnson, Rudolph ate the whole bag. And you ever hear what a reindeer sounds like eating fairy dust? It sounds just like this. And oh my goodness, at first he sneezed a little bit, a little achoo. But then he got right back up to the top of that barn, took a step off, and before you knew it, he was flying just like his father. In fact, maybe even a little bit better. He was doing loop-de-loops and high bank turns. Oh my goodness, it was so wonderful to see. And that's how I get the reindeer to fly. Now, there's, of course, other aspects, too. On a discussion with Santa True, he indicated that the reindeer all contain a superpower. But the only way they can actually get that superpower identified is underneath stressful conditions. So they created a giant catapult that they can launch the reindeer into the air. And, of course, they have a big pillow at the other side. But as the reindeers are hurled through the air, usually at its highest point, their special power kicks in. And that's how they discover what their special powers are. So, of course, all the flyers are put onto Santa's team, but everyone is different. So I always thought it'd be a nice idea is if you can actually find a little small reindeer and make yourself a catapult. You can launch the reindeer into a crowd of children, and I thought that would just be great. Yep, David Renaud, that's another great book too, Through Santa's Eyes by Cos Green. I believe it was Gatlinburg last year that I had an opportunity to meet the author, and you are right. It is a great book about being less selfish and more elfish. Hi, Steph. Steph, of course. Steph Boys, the ultimate photographer to the Kringle brothers. She was just in Gatlinburg. She was just in Branson teaching. So if you ever get an opportunity, always get in touch with Steph. Now, another story that's interesting that comes from actually Robert Suter, or most of us known as Santa True, is Raymond and the Rain Bear. This is just a hardcover book, and it tells a wonderful story about a polar bear and Santa. And as you can see, of course, it's big, it's bold, it's something that you may be able to read to the children itself. Now, you can always contact Santa True to see if he has any copies, but I think you can actually go on Amazon and get this as well. I know my stacks of books are piling up over here immensely. So, all right, now, are there any other questions? Let me just go right here through the chat real quick. Oh, Jerry, Friday I'll be plunging in support of local orca populations. I hope you're not swimming with orcas unless it's at SeaWorld. But be careful because we want you to come back. Now, at this point in time, let's see here. Are there any other questions? Anything else going out there? All right, well, you know what I'm going to do at this time, my friends? I'm going to run a few of our contributor commercials, and then we're going to see what we can do, okay?
Since 1948, one suit defined Santa. Designed by Charles W. Howard and worn by the world-famous Santa Claus School. Worn for presidents, movies, parades, and the most magical moments in families' lives. This is not a costume, but finely tailored, hand-sewn clothing made in the USA. With expert cleaning, restoration, and storage services available, Santa & Company, LLC makes Santa magical.
Are you going crazy managing clients, contracts, and invoices? Kringle Tracker is here to help you. Stay organized with ease. Keep your sanity in check with Kringle Tracker's intuitive tools to effectively manage your schedule and clients. Our seamless, customizable contract system allows you to tailor your contracts to you and your clients' needs. Prepare for tax time like a pro by tracking your income and expenses and generate reports to make it a breeze. Transform your Claus business by signing up for a free 20-day trial. Kringle Tracker was created by a Claus for the Claus community so you can focus on making magical memories for your clients. Head over to kringletracker.com and sign up for your free trial today.
Boy, this is hard not having Michael here. I'll tell you what, trying to actually adjust and get all these scenes going on here. Well, again, welcome to Kringle Time. We're having basically a bag of tricks from Santa here. Now, I just got in the chat here another interesting book, How to Be Santa. Well, I'm not quite sure on that one. I would have to look that one up. But anything relatable is going to be wonderful. George, are you going to the Santa gathering in Lancaster, Pennsylvania? Unfortunately, George, I don't have the opportunity this year to go. I have to make a few other trips in the month of September. I have to go to Florida, then I have to come back here, and then I'll be going, I think, to Pennsylvania the very first weekend in October. So it's kind of difficult for me to get to it this year, but it is on my list. And I do want to make it out there. I also want to go to Santa Camp. Okay, there we go. We're all caught back up here. Whoa, that kind of was a little scary there. Now, as many of you know, I enjoy in the Kringle Brothers teaching to talk about acting and improv. And the next few books that I do have here are wonderful books. And the very first one I'd like to discuss is, of course, The Actor's Art and Craft by William Esper and Damon DeMarco. William Esper is a fantastic teaching coach out of New York. And he basically carries on upon Messner's and Stanislavski's principle. And really, that simply just comes down to is, as actors, we don't act. Thank you, Sue. You get the point. I want to go to Santa Camp. Yes, I know my audio stuck. I apologize. And Lewis, yes, that's another one of my favorite books as well, too. I didn't get to my personal favorite, but that is The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus by L. Frank Baum. It's a wonderful book. It expresses so many wonderful ideas. And for those who enjoy a more visual aspect, I found on iTunes a Bass Rankin version of The Life and Times of Santa Claus. So in case you don't want to read the book, you can always watch it as well too. But as I was speaking about these different actor coaches, is there's truth, and that's what we want to do. We don't need to act and force ourselves out there. We just have to respond to the moment and be in the truth of the moment. And that's what acting is all about. Now, I love also to teach improvisation, and as many of you know that have actually seen us in person, this is my forte. This is what I like. But one of the things I usually end up hearing the most is that I can't think that fast. I'm going to be honest with you, with the few books that I've actually read on improvisation, such as a wonderful book by Viola Sporlin, and of course Impro by Keith Johnstone. Improvisation really truthfully just goes by a few rules, and those rules are: one, be honest, be truthful. The key also is to listen. When we start getting into our heads thinking about what we want to do or how we want to direct this conversation or how do we want to approach it, it will sound very robotic, animated, not in a good way. If we just go ahead and we just follow what's in our heart and say the truth, listen, there's nothing that you can't actually accomplish. There's a couple things here. Did you know that Santa Claus and the Wizard of Oz just happen to live in the same universe? Yes, Lewis, I did know that. And here's a really good piece of information. A lot of people don't know this when we talk about L. Frank Baum, is when they were actually filming The Wizard of Oz, they went to a thrift store to get the jacket for the wizard. Well, when they actually got the jacket and they brought it back, they found a piece of paper inside of it that proved that the jacket belonged to L. Frank Baum. So there's some wonderful, wonderful trivia when it comes to The Wizard of Oz. But from a Christmas performer standpoint, it is a wonderful book to read. Hello, Frank. How are you? Now, another fun book that's fun when you talk about improv is The Truth in Comedy, A Manual of Improvisation by Sharna Halburn and Del Close. Now, Sharna Halburn and Del Close are renowned in the Second City atmosphere for those that are familiar with the improv and the different clubs. They created long-form improv, which could have a basis for us as Christmas performers. And of course, thank you, George. I appreciate that. That was my next book. Then I have this one book here called The Steady Magic by Michael Herbie Buer. I wrote this because I had to get many things out of my head when it came to improvisation, and I put that out there. You can find that book in any one of these books that I mentioned on Amazon, on thriftbooks.com you can look at. Let's see. Didn't Santa Baum do a book about the Elf War? Very close, Alan. Inside The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus, there was an instance where Nicholas was taken captive by some evil trolls. And in the process, the great Auk, along with the different fairies and elves of the forest, went to war over Santa Claus. And in the process, got rid of the evil trolls. So yes, that was the Elf War, and it was just a brief little mention within that book. But very good, Alan. I mean, most people don't remember. I actually spoke of the Elf War, and I was actually made known to it by a very special young man who came up to see me, and I asked, what would you like to talk about? And after we asked you what you wanted for Christmas and how are you, he says, I want to know about the elves and how they're doing after the war. And I was like, a war? Oh, I have to hear this. This is what I was saying in my mind. And it was the most enlightening talk I've had sitting in the chair. So again, by doing all this reading, by gaining all kinds of different knowledge and talking to other Christmas performers, you can develop multiple layers where you can base your character upon. So if a child does come up to you and ask you about an elf war, by reading L. Frank Baum's book, you'll be able to get maybe a snippet and relate to the child that, no, there was never any war, there was one, and here's the story that goes. Again, it goes back to one of the main foundations of improvisation, and that is accept and add. We never turn down what somebody offers us. We always basically take it, accept it, and then add on to it. Oh, yes, Lewis, I'm also familiar with the Letters from Father Christmas by J.R.R. Tolkien. I do own it on a digital copy as well. For those that are not familiar with this book, J.R.R. Tolkien wrote a series of letters to his children as Father Christmas. And as they got older, they were published, and it's a great insight into the English thinking of Father Christmas. Now, I talk a lot about understanding different cultures and the different gift givers of the world. Now, yes, Santa Claus is a mainline feature across the world. However, there's many countries who actually have alternative gift givers as well. For instance, Spain, some of our Latin American countries as well celebrate the Three Kings on Epiphany. Italy has a wonderful woman by the name of La Befana who goes as the Christmas witch, and she has her place And of course, many of us know about Pierre Noel, Father Christmas. But by understanding all these different gift givers, it creates a much richer world. Now, if you're an individual who has done many virtual calls, you never know who you'll be speaking with worldwide. So it's always good to have a brief knowledge of all these different cultures. So when asked or when challenged, you'll be able to come up with a wonderful, wonderful story or provide the information that will make you look legitimate. Let's see here. I've talked about those books. So this was just a touch of the different items I do carry within my library. If you actually were here with me in person, you would be amazing because I have tons of books on storytelling, additional books on improvisation, as well as Christmas lore and history. So I'm going to open up the floor right now to different questions. What would be a topic that you would like to discuss? You can always enter it into the chat. We can always look and see here. I do know I do have another Christmas in July event. I have worked with a flower shop this Saturday, and it's going to be a fun time. He has me booked for 6 hours, and I think he's trying to do like maybe a summer Christmas festival. Hello, Ellen from Shelby, Michigan. It's good to have you here. Well, while I have this opportunity, I do want to remind everybody that the first weekend in August, August 1st and 2nd, here in Michigan, we'll be offering the Red Suit Conclave. It is a wonderful opportunity. It's a weekend school, more or less, so we bring in specialized instructors for free. All you need to do is pay for your own lodging and food, but the classes are free. And it's a great time for fellowship, to learn, maybe to share some of your ideas. Now, Bill says, I've always been interested in your magical props. Which prop is your most used and why? In the words of Leon McBride, I like to vision this: pack small and play big. One of my favorite props that I end up using is my D-Light illuminated thumb. I've spoke to this on a number of times in past shows, but this allows me to do so many different things. I can create a fairy and pull it behind somebody's ear and have a complete conversation with that individual. I can actually break the ice with some adults because I will say that the fairy's living underneath a beard. And then as he comes out, he goes, you need to take a shower. But these are some other items as well. Other things I like to use as well too are a naughty and nice meter, which I use are hand boilers. And you can pick those up at Hobby Lobby for about $8, but they're just wonderful little science magic trick. This past weekend, one of the things that I did that seemed to be so amazing to people was making snow in July. Now, this is a powder, and you're going to have to forgive me because I was not prepared for this part here. But it's a powder, when you add water to it, it kind of turns it into a snow-like material. And if you use cold water, it remains cold. What I did is I took it into a, lack of a better word, a test tube flask and put the powder into that. And then I keep it within my gig bag. And then I can pour it into basically a bowl, add a little bit of water, and before you know it, I have snow. And the reason for it is because sometimes when you're in Hawaii, you can get stuck. Now, let's see here. What other fun ones are here too? There's a couple comments as I was going in there. Yep, okay, there's that one there. Hello. Challenging children. When they ask you things like, how many brothers and sisters do you have? Then again, for that one, David, what I would actually recommend you doing is actually looking on your... You have to refer back to your backstory. Does Santa have brothers and sisters? Mine does not. I don't have any brothers and sisters. Basically, it's just Mrs. Claus and I and the elves. But if you can actually believe what you're saying, you can then convince others that that's the truth as well. Now, of course, there's many cousins, because when we all end up getting together, we have Santa cousins, and that would include that Santa would have basically a family. So again, when it comes to challenging questions and challenging children, here's you just have to understand your backstory. If you did have brothers and sisters, what would they be doing? Would they be at the North Pole with you, or would they be down in the normal world, living amongst different people? One of the authors I'm really getting into now is a gentleman by the name of Russell Ince. The last name is spelled Ince. And in one of his books, it's called Santa Claus: The Secrets. He actually lays out an annual plan of what Santa does throughout the year. So as I said earlier, if you spend some time to read some of these wonderful books, do your own research, you can develop a backstory that will answer any child's question. Let's see here. In addition to Tolkien, there's also C.S. Lewis, the line where, yes, you are right, Lewis, again. Excuse me. A wonderful fact is what C.S. Lewis is, when he actually was doing the Narnia series, he actually sent copies to Tolkien to get his idea and to get his interpretation and to make any corrections. But again, this is a wonderful series of books that has a small feature of Father Christmas. As for Jeff, what does your gig bag look like? Jeff, my gig bag is just a simple medical bag that I picked up on Amazon. It's nylon. It has basically Velcro insides to keep it together. It's just something that I just carry around, but whatever makes you comfortable. What kind of Santa do you have? I always thought it'd be kind of cool that if you could go on Marketplace or Amazon or even in Hobby Lobby, and if you could find, say, like an old suitcase that you can then divvy up, how cool would that? Or even like an old medical bag or even a carpet bag. And then you could do the magical pole and look like Mary Poppins as you have this bag and you take out a 6-foot pole in it as well too. But let your imagination run wild. As I said, I use a regular EMT type red bag. It's red and black. It's kind of like a plastically nylon material itself that has 6 pockets on there that I can fit everything that I need in that bag itself. Santa Danny, yep. Aren't those hand boilers wonderful? And they are so great, and you can have so much fun with them because each color can actually denote a different item. Red I use for naughty and nice. Green I use for Christmas spirit. But you can get purple, you can get blue, and you can get so many wonderful things. Gregory, looking forward to the Red Suit Conclave. I will be bringing the Santa Suit Quilt Kit. You can pre-order it on the MAP site. Cost is $40. Thank you, Gregory. I appreciate that. Oh, yes, and you saw the Couples Claus have a 3-piece Christmas ball camera. Do you use anything like that? Well, in fact, yes, I do. The original concept, and let's see here. Excuse me a moment. No, what did I do with it? Nope. Oh, there it is. The original concept was just to use a single one, and here's my ball right there. But if you actually wanted to get 3 of them, and yes, you can then make your own type of North Pole surveillance. This is a wonderful idea. Michael and Couple Claus actually talked in depth on this, how to make it, where to get that. And it's a great prop itself too. Especially too, as if you even thought about it, if you're doing home visits and you could actually ask the parents to send you a small video of the children. Could you imagine their surprise when you actually use this and you show video of the people that you're seeing? That is Santa. He does watch. Oh my goodness. So that is a wonderful idea as well. Let's see here. Oh, thank you for the carpet bag idea. Oh yes. Hi, Santa. Elves of Shelby. Again, they do have some trick wooden boxes and things in Barnes and Nobles too. Oh yes, Kathy. I cannot forget this. As many of you know that follow Couple Claus as well as the Kringle brothers, on Saturday, August 1st, we will be having a feud. We'll be a feud in a Claus family feud in style with the Kringle brothers versus the Couple Claus. So again, if you're in the area and you want to come and have some fun, come on up to the Red Suit Conclave or the 4 Point Sheridan in Saginaw. And you can come and join in and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you, Kathy, for the reminder. Now, what I should do right now is take this opportunity to go ahead and run tonight's dad joke. Let me see if I can find that real quickly. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is.
What do you call a police officer that won't get out of bed? An undercover cop.
Oh my goodness. Sometimes I don't know where Michael gets these wonderful dad jokes. Let me tell you. So some of the other questions that we did come up with in the past is, how can one jump in and out of character so easily? And again, that just takes practice. And let's see. I just got a long one in here, so I'm just trying to read these things. Delay, big part of my kit. Yes, making snow big. Story time about rebuilding the sleigh every year and the development of snow so damaged is not so bad. Have a flask. Yep. See, Jerry, those are wonderful ideas. What he's saying too is have a flask with a window. Water looks a little blue. Children, put your hands on the flask. Isn't it cold? You can get a 4-pack of crayons. Santa has developed the ability to hold a crayon in his hand and tell you what color it was without even seeing it, while behind your back, get a nick under a nail, and when you bring it your hands to the front and smell the color, and you hold it to your temples and think, you can get a quick glance at the finger. So basically, what Jerry is saying is if you have a pack of crayons, you can take out the crayons, and as you put it behind your back, you can pick out any color you want without seeing it by simply putting a little bit of the wax underneath your fingernail. And as you hold it up to your temple to concentrate, you might be able to look and see, okay, it's red because I had a little red piece of wax underneath my nail. So again, that's a great idea, Jerry, and that's a little bit of fun to understand Santa's relationship with toys. Alan says, that's great setup you have there. I thought it was just a backdrop. No, Alan, what I was first using a digital background, or basically a green screen. But I found that sometimes lighting would get away from me on this. So what I did is I created an entire backdrop here. Everything that you see right through here is real. In fact, one of my favorite things to play with is, of course, my globe. That no matter how you turn it, always stays the same way. And because the light keeps it activated, so it's constantly rotating. So this is a wonderful prop here. Oh, let's see here. In fact, I have the nutcrackers light up, and even my little lamps up here. So it just kind of gives you an idea. Thank you, Santa Alan. I appreciate that. And then Lou says, okay, name your favorite top actors who portrayed Santa Claus in the movie. Oh my goodness. 5 of my wonderful actors who portrayed Santa Claus. The main character or just the voice? Of course, we all have to say, in my opinion, the best, and that would be Edmund Gwynn in Miracle on 34th Street. I thought David Attenborough did a wonderful job. And the remake of Miracle on 34th Street, and of course Tim Allen. But we start looking at some of the other actors who have played Santa. Ed Asner in Elf, wonderful. Mickey Rooney in the Bass Rankin videos as well too, did an amazing job of it. It's very hard for me to pick because, again, I look for everybody that plays Santa plays it for a different reason. Even in fact, in Fred Claus, look at Paul Giamatti or Kurt Russell in The Christmas Chronicles. Each one carries its own unique take on what it is to be Santa. Santa Scott, hello. Her or good to see you. Hello, Scott. I think you meant to say hello, Herbie. So, hello, Herbie. It's great to thank you, Scott. I'm glad you cleared that up because at first I did not know what to say. All right, let's see here. We got, there's still more coming on there. Hey there, love from Santa Carlucci and Jenny Lynn. Well, hello, Jenny Lynn. How are you? it was good to see pictures of you guys, and I believe Branson it was, so that's always fun. Let's see here. Favorite Christmas song by artist. Mine is Silent Night, both by Bing Crosby and Brett Eldridge. Ugh. Christmas songs, because I cannot barely sing, I can barely carry a tune, even if some people help me. Different artists, again, different flavors. I love It's a Drummer Boy. I also love, the Bing Crosby and David Bowie medley, which is a wonderful song too. But really, truthfully, some of my favorite songs, I prefer some of the items that Pentatonics did, the a cappella aspect as well. All right, what did you think of J.K. Simmons and the Red One as Santa? Kevin, that was an interesting movie. I'll be honest. I sat through half of it and I had to turn it off because it was hurting my brain. I think J.K. Simmons did a wonderful job on it. But again, he's a different type of Santa. And to be honest, they could have just left Santa in the back area for that, and it would have been fine as well. David Huddleston, I completely forgot about him in the Santa Claus in 1985. Again, big booming voice, very reminiscent of the Ghost of Christmas Present from the Christmas Carol. Everett and Dana are watching. Thank you, Everett and Dana. Hope you guys are going to have a lot of fun at Northern Lights coming up here next month. I'm trying to figure out whether or not I can make it. At least T&L on the road or home for a little while. Yeah, Scott, you guys had a whirlwind vacation. Not really vacation. You guys worked so much out there. And let's see, we have Jerry, NORPAC Conference, September 24th to the 26th. Again, if you're up in the northwest area of the country, definitely take a part of NORPAC. They're a great group of people. In fact, the NORPAC group asked Michael and I to come and teach, what was it, 2 years ago? And it was one of the best times ever. It's the first time I've been to Seattle, Washington. Oh, yep, and Kathy asked Santa Scott if he's a little tired. So, what I want to do right now is I want to go ahead and let's run, and then we're going to run trivia. But you're going to have to excuse me because I'm going to have to watch two screens all at one time here. Is your globe on Amazon? Santa Ellen, that is a MOVA globe, and I believe it may be on Amazon, but I'll be honest, it's relatively expensive. I think it's like $200 or $300. Do not be taken because I actually tried to purchase one for like $50 and they just took my money and ran. Oh, yeah, that's a good one too, Kevin. This Christmas song and Let It Be Christmas by Alan Jackson. And of course, anything from Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Okay, and Jerry, am I the only one who puts Rare Exports right up there near the top of my favorite Santa movie? Santa Jerry, you may be the only one, you and me both, who know about Rare Exports. And for those that are interested, Rare Exports is a foreign film that details with zombie elves and Santa Claus is a demon. It is hysterical to watch. So if you're ever in the moment for basically a really bad movie on a rainy day, Rare Exports is right up there. Let's see here. Let's see, Hyatt Friend Memory. I would love some tips and creative ideas of what Mrs. Claus does at home visits. But you know what? This is one of the things that I've actually said many a times. Mrs. Claus is writing her story as we speak. And everything can change. It all depends upon what type of Mrs. Claus you are. Now, for me, my Mrs. Claus runs the North Pole. I am nothing more than a glorified UPS Amazon driver with a better uniform. She takes care of all the logistics at the North Pole. She teaches all the elves. She really, truthfully runs the North Pole. But one of the things that she does the best is gives support to Santa. And this is really important. So some of the ideas or creative ideas that you could have Mrs. Claus do at home is, now, I'm not denying this, but you can always have, cookie decorating with Mrs. Claus. You can discuss cooking tips with Mrs. Claus. Or if you wanted to, there's some wonderful stories that you could develop as Mrs. Claus, or tell the same stories that Santa tells, but from Mrs. Claus's perspective. Again, I talked about the story about Rudolph eating the red fairy dust. Now imagine if Mrs. Claus saw that happen, and how would she react, and how would it change the story? So from a Mrs. Claus perspective, the world is your oyster. You just have to find those unique pearls to make it stronger. Kevin, yes, Christmas Story is a great one, made in 2007. It's the finished film, but you can find English versions. That is a great origin story of Nicholas as well. Don't get it confused with Ralphie and the Fragile Lamp. This is a beautiful story called The Christmas Story, made in 2007. It's a finished film, and I believe I found it on Amazon. I think I found it on Amazon Prime. So it's a very good movie, and it's one of those things that not many people know much about. All right, let's go ahead and run our trivia for this evening. So I'm going to go ahead and start that.
Since its founding in 2004, Santa's Closet has been committed to providing unique, high-quality accessories for Santa, Mrs. Claus, and the entire Claus community. Our mission is to deliver exceptional customer service and outstanding value, offering competitive pricing and a wide selection of products designed to enrich the Claus experience.
Okay, just so everybody remembers, what the trivia is that if you are the winner, please provide us your name, address, and shirt size, and you can do so here at the Kringle Brothers 2 at gmail.com. So again, if you are tonight's winner, please email us at kringlebrothers2 at gmail.com. In addition, we cannot ship anywhere outside of the continental United States. So if you live in Canada, unfortunately, we can't ship to Canada unless you know somebody here in the United States that can get it to you. So tonight's trivia, you all should end up getting relatively close. And that is, tonight's question is, what pair of cops become partners during the holiday season in Lethal Weapon? Again, what pair of cops become partners during the holiday season in Lethal Weapon? And you see my head turning because I'm trying to look at YouTube as well as the chat here. So let's see here. I know everybody's quickly trying to figure it out. This goes back to the old thing. It's Lethal Weapon and Die Hard Christmas movies. So again, what pair of cops become partners? You know, the Vineyard Center, you are so close, but what are their character names is what I'm looking for. Mel Gibson and Danny Glover were not cops. They're actors. So what are the pair of cops who become partners during the holiday season in Lethal Weapon? We got one person that came close to it. They got half of it. Oh, somebody out there is on IMDb right now and typing it in to get their character names. Santa Jerry, you got half of it. And there we go. Jeff Ernst is the first one to come in. Let's see, Jeff. Perfect here. And that is, let me get the answer here for you. So, the pair of cops become partners during the holiday season in Lethal Weapon was Riggs and Murtaugh. Now, again, Jeff Ernst is our winner. So let me go ahead and update my little log here. See, this is all the Bonnie and Clyde. I love that, Sue. That is perfect here. Let me just get this so I can write this name down here. Perfect. Now again, Jeff, just remember to email us at kringlebrothers2 at gmail.com in order to basically get, we will forward that to Wade and Scarlett of Santa Closet to get your prize shipped out to you. Now, we have a few more minutes left here. I'm trying to see if Crockett and Tubbs, oh my gosh, John, if only That's because you're only in timeout. Well, if we're doing Miami Vice, that could actually be a winner one too, but I don't think they did a movie. So, as we get ready to close, everyone, does anybody have any final questions or any final comments you want to make? And again, thank you so much for being considerate. As we did not have a show last week, then of course Michael took this week off. But I can say this, for those that joined us for the ASL classes on Zoom, Michael has actually said that in the month of October, we're going to go ahead and do a Zoom session to act as a refresher for ASL. When that information comes out, I highly suggest anybody and everybody go ahead and join us on that, because it's wonderful to be able to communicate something different that you may never know you may need. So always keep that in mind. Thank you, Alan. I really do appreciate that. He just said I did an excellent job. What do you carry your props in? As I said, where was that Santa Kevin. As I said, it's an EMT bag I picked up on Amazon. It's nylon based. It wasn't that really expensive as well too. It has about 6 pockets on it. It has basically removable inside, so it can actually lay flat. And usually what I carry in there is my prop Jinx, magic coloring book, various other gadgets, because I like to go through the bag and be wonderfully surprised as to what I pull out, because half the time the elves, who I also say make all the toys but never tell me what they make, because I can't keep a secret, and I would tell you everything you want to know. As far as you, what is your preferred suit, cola or traditional? I prefer the traditional one, John. However, I do have a cola plus other looks as well too. I leave that to my customer base as to what they want. Will there be any more Scout Elf Zooms? Joy, are you talking about the ELF phone calls that are usually done the first Friday of every month? ELF stands for Enrichment, Fellowship, and Learning. Yes, they should be there. Thank you, Jerry, for saying great show. Thank you so much. Well, in the words of Michael, let's see if I can do this because it's kind of hard without him sometimes here. Okay. Until we meet again, may your days be jolly and your hearts shine bright. And may the magic of Christmas fill every aspect of your life. Remember to be good, well, as good as you can be. Spread joy and share kindness to all you see. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Good night, everyone. Where is it at now? There it is. After party. I don't know what happened with that, but it didn't seem to go all the way through. But most of you know all of TNL's shows and its lineup. Well, thank you again for joining us. And again, if you ever have a question or you want to reach out or you just want to talk, go ahead and email us at kringlebrothers2@gmail.com. Either Michael and I will get back with you, or both of us will. Also, remember to follow and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube, and you can always find us at the Kringle Brothers as well. So let's see here. Let's go back and hide there. Again, thank you so very much for joining us. You have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you next week for what? I do not know, but we'll see you soon. And again, if you have Christmas in July events coming up, shine bright, shine strong, and never let them see you sweat. Merry Christmas, everyone. And remember, we're better together. Bye-bye now.